Hello everyone, Han here, and I have a quick question for you today. When you hear about the word poverty, what comes into your mind? Perhaps you envision people living in a squatted area, homeless people begging for food, and children who cannot afford to study. Those are the things that the majority reasons out when they hear the word poverty. But what exactly is poverty? Poverty, by definition, is not having to meet the basic needs, such as food, clothing, and shelter. But according to the United Nations, poverty entails more than the lack of income and productive resources to ensure sustainable livelihoods. Its manifestations include hunger and malnutrition, limited access to education and other basic services, social discrimination and exclusion, as well as the lack of participation in decision making. Despite the many definitions of poverty, one thing is for sure. Poverty is a complex societal issue. But what exactly causes poverty?
Now, let us find out what are the causes of poverty. According to Sock and Hoberty 2022, there are various root causes of poverty. The first cause of poverty is lack of good jobs or job growth. A person who is unemployed will eventually become poor since they won't be making a good living if they don't have a job. People are trapped in poverty as a result of their inability to meet their fundamental necessities due to income instability. Lack of good education is the next factor contributing to poverty. Without education, people cannot break the cycle of poverty and improve their lives. As we can see, a lot of people in the Philippines lack proper education, and the majority of them pass profitable positions in favor of low-paying or menial ones that typically involve hard manual labor. Weather or climate change is the third factor. We all know that climate change contributes to drought, flooding, and extreme storms, which can devastate wealthy nations while further impoverishing those in need. The majority of people in the Philippines depend on the land for both their food and their livelihoods. As a result, when crops and livestock are disseminated due to climate change, both people's ability to feed themselves and to provide for their families is threatened. Recovery is very challenging, particularly for agricultural communities.
Poverty is caused by a societal injustice, seeing as people determined by social injustice have a difficult time finding work and obtaining a high-quality education, which can worsen the problem. It is a form of both identical racial oppression. Poverty is exacerbated by a lack of government support. Numerous individuals who struggle in the absence of public assistance. As an example, consider how government aid services screw up by funneling money away from those in need or by actively harassing the communities. Poverty is indeed triggered by a lack of access to quality healthcare. Without funds for healthcare, the poor are compelled to make difficult choices. This is because healthcare is frequently outrageously costly or unavailable to those in need. We conclude that Canada has significantly lower rates of poverty because, according to the nation's encyclopedia, Canada is a prosperous and affluent country. It has a highly developed social welfare system that includes a progressive healthcare system. Poverty is a major issue in the world, and according to Muhammad Ali, wars of nations are fought to change map, but wars of poverty are fought to map change.
4. The growing crime trends due to the increasing poverty rates. It systematically worsened the social and economic conditions of poor community. The marginalization of the growing crime exposed criminalization, and according to Wakan 2009, instead of preventing and alleviating their poverty, policies have hastened and deepened it. In the sense, they are the most undeserving and punished of the able-bodied poor. Moreover, in the recession of economic instability, the rising numbers of crimes triggers due to unemployment. Trends in the operations of criminal justice system provides overview of the crime-related and incidents promoting the decision-making about criminal justice system nationally and internationally. In proposed resolution in May 25, 1984 for the continuing process of the service and database. The scholars also argue areas of the high inequality place poor individuals who have low returns from market activity next to the high-income individuals who have goods worth taking. The Princeton University Press of 2018 fight the pervasive subtle combat of poverty, which is harder now than the past. It provides and encourages poor into change.
Hello? Hello, Jules. The impact that poverty has on society and human life is very visible. People who experience poverty tend to experience diseases caused by an unhealthy living environment. It was identified that malnutrition, unemployment, poor housing, educational deficits, and inadequate access to medical facilities are the main source of illnesses to people. These factors in turn points back to poverty. According to Makogivi and others, year 2017, some common poverty-related diseases are malaria, cholera, and diarrhea, in which prominently attributed by lack of proper hygiene and living environment condition. PRDs or poverty-related diseases are diseases that are considered significant public health concern, whereby poverty is a factor that increases the chances of getting the disease and hinders proper treatment and cure.
A solution that I can propose to combat poverty is ending hunger through providing affordable goods. If people can afford the food they need to survive, no one will fall to poverty line. The second SDG created by United Nations is Zero Hunger. It focused primarily on ending hunger, achieve food insecurity and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. The food should be accessible and affordable for all people. Joe McCarthy stated that the world should institute higher wages for workers and lower the cost and invest in the production of healthy food. So everyone should practice being sustainable. We should reduce food loss, and extra foods must be given to those who are hungry. According to the state of food security and nutrition, food affordability is an important determinant of food choice and access, driving overall health, nutrition status, and environmental outcomes. So we should all work together to combat poverty and end hunger in this world. An inspiring quote by Ed Asner: "There are genuinely sufficient resources in the world to ensure that no one, nowhere at no time, should go hungry." Thank you.
One of my proposed solutions in reducing poverty in our country is promoting economic growth, particularly in agriculture. Healthy, sustainable, and inclusive food systems are critical to achieve the world's development goals. According to Bottiger, Dennis, and Sangvi 2017, the most effective way to improve the lives of millions in poverty is to support agriculture in developing countries. Most of the world's poor are farmers and those who are not spending much of their income on food. Transforming a country's agriculture sector can create jobs, raise incomes, reduce malnutrition, and kickstart the economy on a path to a middle-income growth. Therefore, in order to end poverty, hunger, and undernutrition while accelerating economic growth, agricultural transformation must become a reality. So realizing this vision will require dedicated efforts among major agri-fishery industry, stakeholders, and the government to continuously empower farmers, fisherfolk, agricultural entrepreneurs, and private sector to increase agricultural productivity and profitability, taking into account productivity and resilience.
One thing that I can propose to solve poverty is free quality education for all. John Legend said, "The best way to fight poverty is to empower people to access to quality education." According to UNESCO 2022, if all learners in low-income countries are literate, then estimated 171 million people could be saved from extreme poverty. Global poverty rate would also be reduced by more than half if all adults are secondary level graduates. Imagine how great the impact of education towards poverty. According to Nichols 2020, the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act of 2017 is an approach of our government to ensure everybody can access quality free higher education. Aside from free tuition, we must also improve our education system by focusing to skill-based learnings so that we can produce graduates who are globally competitive and easy to be hired because they already possess necessary skills needed in their career. If this will be realized, our employment rate will go higher, then the greater chances that our poverty incident rate will go lower.